perfect design, the wizard's table, an enchanted encounter where the exact cure, the medicine, and the antidote are applied to our creature for our enhancement, for our ability to comprehend the future. We have to be the visionaries of our society for the future to be a bright home and a safe place for our children. A general guidance, having eyes on one side of your face, is an indication about the importance of governing the time of our planet. The universe is vast, but in geometric definitions that do apply to a vein of reality, there does exist a description that explains that this entire universe fits inside of your living body. The universe is like the body of life, and whilst we live, we are royalty. The earth has a unique identity. We must have unconditional love with our planet and perform the solemn task, mutually beneficial. I've been fantasizing about angel doctors recently and meditating on like receiving injections for like inoculations, but it actually really helped me. I was meditating and I was thinking like, all right, I what I need is like the perfect doctor. What if we just imagine like a huge angel doctor with a wolf face on, and he like floats down and he has big wings, he's all glowing, and he and he lands on the earth and the earth kind of wobbles a little bit, right? But then the doctor, he knows exactly what to do. And he's reading the biorhythms, he's understanding the unique anatomy of the earth. He understands the trauma of the deadlights rose and all the shiftings that the earth is going through. All the people are also experiencing that, but it is twice as painful when it is, uh, when it's not fully communicated. And what I'm putting forward is that has oh, Hatch has absolutely something important to communicate, and it's worth the the free speech. It's worth the American startup, the ingenuity. In America, when you have a good idea, we put it out there and we talk about it and we say, "Hey, that's a good idea. I want some of these things." All right, so and this is just makes it really beautiful for America to understand the involvement Trey Parker designing the CEO's best. And I think it's really important that we understand the maturity of introducing the gaming platform, um, because we want this to be exciting to wear. That is to say, if the only reason you're wearing it is for a breather, that's really sort of a specific uh, but what we want is for the kids to get used to it in a way like they can answer calls, but there's also a social thing that goes where you can talk to your friends as little animated characters, and they're right there on the side of your screen as you're like walking around. You can just chat with a bunch of friends, and and it's animated like you have your own avatar and stuff. Like, I'm just saying, if we when we do that, then all of a sudden people are wearing uh, the best possible protection, and it's literally saving lives. And I think that's the urgency, you guys. I've been reading the news, and it's a strange biorhythm. I think like a week ago, or A little while ago, that I was hearing like conflicting stories and strange mannerisms, the weird ways of describing things and talking about like, well, we're going to describe this as a potential zombie apocalypse, where there could be like waves and waves of alt strand infection. And like you know, the thing is we're getting used to it. So even if the numbers of people getting sick and dying are rising, people are just still like, well, you know, they want to believe in the injection, but so what I'm saying is to make this really comfortable and to make it sort of a social statement, but also, it's a functional accessory and it absolutely filters the air and it prioritizes the person. It really feels good when you're wearing it. And I'm just really excited to develop it and have that conversation with America. There's a lot of opportunities of how to do this. I do want to talk about this location because I think it's a destiny piece and it's important for us to respond to the magical edges of Earth. Like when Earth is having a moment, like a real thing. Um, we need to be friends with Earth on that. And so this is a cock piece that aligns the malaligned things that were confusing our society. You know, Powerful American fighters like Trey Parker are working hard to keep it real. And their job is a very healthy place in society. And but word to the wise, and Hatch, I think is trying to explain why things aren't so straightforward as well. You can tell how the government is a bunch of older, silly people. Things are okay. I'm saying I'm not an alarmist. I'm not a doomcaster, but I'm saying it really is not okay. I don't see viable heroes, and I think it's. But I'm also not seeing viable heroes in the general public, and that's outrageous. It should be happening on social media. There's like a serious depression, or like people are like, they're like, they're on the issue. They're talking in tongues or whatever, or they're thinking. It's not that complicated, but they're all sort of meditating together about a very intense issue. And I think that larger uh, examples like J.J. Abrams would be like like an early societal conversation arena where they're talking about, that this is sort of like a um, tone deaf or blindsided or a missing piece or some sort of cringe therapy, as in like, why is the new Star Wars so bad? And why is it sort of popular? And at any rate, I wanted to say, every part of the structure here in the plan is part of a scheduled shooting um, film or virtual reality record session. So I want to detail that, in fact, the small area I was talking about, like a Simpsons cafe, it's actually not going to be a cafe as much. That's actually the retrofitting what it might be later on. But what we build is a sort of luxurious uh, virtual reality recording session with the entire Simpsons cast, but also with Matt Groening. And Trey Parker is here as like director, but maybe doing like some guest things like running through, you know. But us all sitting down, and it would sort of be like, "Hey, come on down and support the Green Wolf," or sorry, it's really bad. Like, what's the song? The song is like, "Come on, people now, come on, ta-da-da-da now," But like, it's kind of like, uh, I mean, they will get paid, but that's not the concern. I'm just saying, like, I'm seeing like, a social movement, and I'm a visual or a I'm a visionary, right? So I plan ahead like this. I'm saying it's like I want to make it this really dreamlike, cartoony experience where they're doing their characters in VR, and we just sort of do like a week and they have like their own private uh hotel area, and it's all made for this one Simpsons shoot where we basically pieced together a couple really interesting, like, Simpsons and a dash of South Park, and Trey was there, and just like, oh wow, it's just be really a wonderful party for um because I imagine there's like different themed recording areas, and they mature and they become like, oh well, we need some offices, oh okay, or um but to really tackle this area is to comprehend that it is critically, like, I feel God is on this in a way. It's really like dominoes, like bing 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 bing. This one is would be ready to go if we could get them on a contract, be like, okay, well, 1.5 million in next year. So you have a year to think about, or to move and stuff. And they'd be like, oh yeah, yeah, lock that down. Like this area absolutely is really essential. This kind of is really special. This is like a historical building, and it has this weird bridge that crosses across. And this is kind of a prized piece. Like you'd kind of this kind of the luxury piece. This is essential, so this would be prioritized. What I wanted to talk about is the difference between these two buildings, because while I think we could scoop up this building pretty easily and actually get to work manufacturing thousands of these breathing masks, and they're sophisticated, they're fun. It's like a interactive thing. Also, with the app, it opens up, and what we can do is have developers like competing for people to use their browser type. And so there's like a browser type where it projects and it says like, oh, here's the news update, or some people are like, no, I want it to be Steam, or I'd like to live stream while I'm XRing. So this could be like a new thing that's on Twitch, um you know all these fun options, but the point is to have that uh technology, the capacity to do that, and it opens up for software developers to catch the scent and detect an opportunity and be, oh, I think this is really cool, and people would be really excited about this because you have a full uh, curved screen opportunity. It's possible we could do something where you pull down like a screen, like a cloth, if you're just doing computing in there. Oh my gosh, and the air breathers running, it's plugged in. You're not worried about the batteries. You're just chilling out. I don't know. It's just like I think it's very alive. Like it's a living thing. It's like, yeah, this would be a good handshake. This would be a good thing for people to have. Thank you guys so much for being my friend. I know I'm like uh, unusual. Uh, the identity needs to be encouraged. There are unique abilities of each of us, and I think what's happening is that there's like a mutual awkwardness that somehow it kind of diabolically sabotages, and it's a little embarrassing. But as long if you like understand that, like, oh, so Hatch was teaching us about like there's some complications on Earth, but we're like the silver lining. We're like the heroes. So we can actually keep this planet and work hard. Like I was saying, I was seeing some crunches in our society. This is the big apocalypse dip where we really reckon with, uh, and let's fathom to tackle 2021 and say what's American business. Could we turn this into a show? Could we produce Hatch? You know, and it's relevant, you guys. We could so we're on time. We're here to talk. Thank you guys for being my friend about like I've been too emotional, and I apologize. I was really trying so hard to meet my destiny and understand what Earth had intended, and I love it, and I'm excited. But I'm also sort of oh, did I tell? Oh, I didn't finish this. All right. So what I was saying about this, if you when you go up and see this building is actually really tall. It's like 4 or 5 stories tall, and it's very large in appearance, even though it's the same width as this one. What I'm saying is that we might be able to, uh, same as this one, uh, button down the building with like a 1 year contract. But I'm pretty sure this one is just ready to go, and these people are like, "Oh, you have some, there'll be some jobs in town. Oh, okay. You know, factory town. Okay. You know, I think they'd be outright excited, and we'll be renovating the building and building it up a little bit, but kind of making it a real factory assembly. And it's really like a long belt where we have multiple floors where things get passed along and people are working. And I do want to get into this building eventually. I think that this building is essential, actually. It's a very powerful building. And I needed to connect this to this so that we can sloop through here and get this. I mean, like, I'm okay with leaving these buildings. It would be wonderful just to, get that. I'm not, I feel like for me, it makes sense to go through here, 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 here. And then that's kind of it. That's all because it's almost like a little bit of privacy, or I don't know. So it's like a natural fence, but because this is sort of a private area, and it's so going to be a wonderful center where you could just it's pleasurable to walk along the riverside, and we'll have lights. And of course, all of you guys at South Park are invited, and you're going to have little uh, Trey is going to ordain where we have some living arrangements and stuff, and you guys can have like time and or just or you could actually live here with us if it like I'm just saying like I love you guys, and I'm talking about making society greater, pushing and let's progress society, and let's uh, work hard to encourage and all this. This is a cock piece for artwork, and it's about ensuring that the artwork of human hands cannot be like uh, like a wild forest fairy absorbed or even prevented from being able to open their natural eyes, which would be a disturbing concept. But in the wild, you know, chaos of the art kingdom, of course, this is a common sense, not, like, oh, right, a little bit of planning ahead. So, oh, the South Park kids, they find this magical castle. Well, that's like really helpful for these characters to have like a peace of mind. So it can be pretty decent to do a little touch of magic. But this is a lot of magic, you guys. I'm seeing a lot of magic. And I know that this is a lot of buildings and all, but I'm talking about like tackling it like whoosh and having a sort of calendar, but really sort of focusing on just this one long building about getting the plastic printers in there, getting it set up, and beginning manufacture and assembly and shipping. How do we do that? This is something that this is exactly what you guys know how to do. So I'm so grateful that you guys are my friends. I apologize. Like I've been emotional. I'm sorry. I hope you guys can round up and consider that 2021, everyone's getting their butts kicked. It sucks. And maybe we could take a second look at Hatch and think, this guy has a lot to say. And I think we should do this for our people. And this sounds like a good project. It's a wonderful, an absolute darling. This is greater than a trophy. For Trey to develop this and have that and say, oh yeah, I totally have developed that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what? It's like a wonderful gift. So here we are in the universe, you guys. Thank you so much. Let's align our clockworks and let's do our best for America, our home. We are patriots. We are pillars of society, and we are making the future better for our kids. Oh, the Dragon King. You guys, he had a birthday yesterday, and he's really beautiful, and so I'm so excited to uh, to have him as part of my art family, the Dragon King. So hopefully he'll be showing up. He'll probably have his own show. If I can get my streaming service running. We'll have some people dressing up and performing as dragons. Walking through like, because there's like a walking maze here, um, and lots of. It's a wonderful area to explore. It's a creative space, but it's a functional working space. It has living spaces, and hopefully we'll be working with people who are more comfortable working from home. But I truly believe in the studio space, and I want to power through with that because I think when I begin to magnetize and attract to me people of outstanding talent, they're going to blossom and they're going to have their own TV show, and I'm going to produce it. And I'm going to say, that's great. And I'm going to say, but I want you to work on this. You're going to work with this person. And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah." And they just come out with something so wonderful. Like I'm really excited about this, you guys. And that's really my heart is like, I want to make a beautiful life and just a welcome home. you know, that's what this life is for. And so I'm working to get there. Right now I'm looking around and I'm disturbed by the way people are talking about this and it's so detached and as if it's accepted that we've all become numb. We are comfortable with the rising rates. And I'm not. I think it's alarming and we have a cure. We have something that can actually solve definitely the problem and for certain people save lives, period. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Please help me to make this happen. If we could just focus on like, all right, so the expenses, basically if we knock all this out into like kind of next year contracts or as soon as possible sort of things with these things, um if with the primary expenses like the printer, the equipment and stuff. And as this is getting assembled, it's plenty of time for Trey to work with some uh, draftsmen to detail some things, and we'll be talking about that. I think it's wonderful, and for us to finance and just kind of tackle this one building at first, and be like, okay, this is where it's really going to be making masks, and that's going to help to open up a new political party. They're animals, the wolf, and it's going to be a new voice for America, a place where people are speaking, and there's going to be think tank environments where people are coming up with ideas. We have the highlights, like, there's all kinds of things that can be done with streaming, and um, I have, I have it written down. There's like categories that are missing from what they're doing in streaming land, and I'm going to change the entire industry. We need a bright vision for super cities and a visionary. Like I have this connection with the earth, so I'm already talking about magical maps, and the earth wants to talk with us. So it's an excellent narrative to talk about the next phase for societal development. What we need to do is be able to afford the construction of super cities. We can't afford them. They're too expensive. It's too expensive to build these super cities. You understand? So we need to change the money because we're not a bunch of idiots. We're not manual laborers. We need to evolve. And that means evolving our currency. Beyond that, and perhaps before that, we need to evolve the electoral college so that because we have the technology, we need to actually be standing on the fact that we do have the vote, that every vote is literally counted. Because the fact of the matter is that the electoral college asphyxiates the impression of one vote because some states are leaning usually towards one way or the other. Um, and it's not okay for large cities, California and New York City, to be less important than the swing states. Oh, watch out for North Carolina all of a sudden. And where was North Carolina all the rest of the year? You know, you need to let those who are talking, the cities, Los Angeles, New York, you need to let them explain the heart of the meditation that they talk about politics, and you need to pay attention to that. So that's why there's larger populations there. When we have every vote counting, we'll have common sense register. Okay, but that's a different dragon. The electoral college is a dragon uh, that changes people, and they behave in a certain way. It's a little janky. All right, it's like a, but we're going to grow beyond it. I'm saying there's telltale signs that people don't like the electoral college. Their behavior is weird. But it's not their fault. They're explaining something. They're explaining that the vote is asphyxiated. It's um, but when promoting free speech or actually genuinely every vote counting, this is the health that causes freedom, that causes our country to excel and have artists that people are excited to talk about what they're in love with and what they're passionate about, and they're singing songs and making the family great. That's what America's all about. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Welcome home. From all of us here at Master Source Industries, my name is Hatch. With me, as always, Millie the Outlaw. Thank you for being our friend